So have you ever heard of Zamzar.com? This basic website allows you to convert web files to PNG, JPEG, and other types of images. In 2022, this website reported making more than 500,000 euros annually. Or maybe you've heard of TermsFeed. This simple website generates privacy policies, terms and conditions, and cookie consents. AI predicts the revenues range from $500,000 a year to $1.2 million annually. And guess what? I'll be showing you how to make these type of websites with all those features, all without coding, in less than an hour. And in case you're new to the channel, what is up, party people? My name is Daryl Wilson. Today in this video, I'm gonna walk you through how to create a niche app website with WordPress and Lovable AI step by step. Today, I'll be walking you through how to create an image conversion website. Your new app website will be able to convert any type of image file and even video files in seconds. So your visitors will be able to upload images directly to your websites. They can also adjust the image size, remove the background from images, improve the image quality, and adjust the image such as colors and even rotate the image. Users can also compress the image and reduce the size of the image by up to 90%. You can be as creative as you want and add in unlimited features to your application websites. You can also monetize your website with Google Ads, Ezoic ads, donation links, and PayPal payments. So after watching this video, you'll be able to create any app that you want using Lovable AI. Now in this video, I'll walk you through the Lovable settings, I'll get you comfortable with the AI tool, then I'll walk you through the 4-phase process of how to create optimal apps using AI. Once we have our app up and running, I'll then walk you through how to migrate it to a WordPress website. And after that, you'll be able to create any kind of application website you want using Lovable AI. Today, we're gonna make your application website using Lovable AI. Lovable is an AI tool that allows you to create applications just by describing them. You simply come up with an idea to tell the AI. The AI will then generate the functionality, design, and structure, all without touching a single line of code. Now, I've been using Lovable AI for like the last year. I'm kind of like a junkie, as you can tell. Now, here's some apps that I created using Lovable AI. I created a complex conversion website app. This website allows you to convert any type of image, PDF, or even videos just like Zamzar.com. You can even convert video files such as MOV, MP4, and MP3. And I literally made this in about an hour. I also created a complete TOS generator. My website generates complete terms and conditions and privacy policies for new businesses and online e-commerce websites. I also created my own turn-based RPG game, a medieval question game, and even my own search engine. Also, at some point, you might have heard about automation. Today, I'll walk you through how to automate your app so everything goes directly to your email account. I'll walk you through how to automate any information entered on your form or your application, and this will be routed directly to any email address or any application that you choose. Now, 2 years ago, this was definitely not possible. AI was still somewhat underdeveloped and lacked the programming skills to create more complex apps. But with the development of AI, Lovable AI can now generate mountains of complex code that'll quickly generate your application in a matter of minutes, all without touching a single line of code. So making applications online is easy, and any beginner can get started creating any kind of app they want. All you need is an idea, some coffee, and you're good to go. So let's get started. Now we're gonna build your application website in 4 simple steps. In step 1, we'll get our domain and web hosting. Now, I recommend to use this method because I'll be showing you how to integrate tools directly onto your WordPress website, where you can customize all aspects of your website and embed the app directly on your website with full control. In step 2, we'll import our starter templates. We'll get our website up and running, create a quick design, and get our website ready to implement the app. In step 3, I'll walk you through how to use Lovable AI. This AI platform allows you to generate any kind of website or application with prompts. Now, creating prompts is kind of an art and it's a little bit of skill, so I'll walk you through how to create the most optimal way to build applications for your websites. In step 4, we'll embed the app on our websites. After we create our app, I'll show you how to properly add it to your WordPress website using a drag and drop builder. It's really simple setting this up and it'll take less than a few minutes. Also, make sure to stay till the end of the video because I have a quick announcement that you might want to hear. With that said, let's get started. Let's first go to step 1. Now there is a link in the video description. This will take you to Hostinger.com. This is where we're gonna get your new domain and hosting for your new app website. Okay, now this is Hostinger.com. Now Hostinger.com is among the fastest and also the most reliable web hosting in the industry. They are also officially recommended by WordPress as well. Now before we begin, if you speak other various languages, here at the top under this little American flag banner, we'll click on English, and here you can switch to your native language. So if you speak Japanese or German or French or Thai, you can select your native language and the entire website will be translated to your native language. So here I'll close this. Now here I'll click on Claim Deal. Now here we have a few different plans. We have the Premium, the Business, and the Cloud Startup. Now, I personally recommend to go with the business plan. With the business plan, you actually get more resources, more storage, and you can host more websites. And with the basic plan, you only get SSD storage versus NVMe storage. If you're not sure what that means, just know that NVMe storage is 4 times faster than SSD. So as a result, your website will be a lot faster if you decide to go on the business plan. And don't worry, you get a free domain, a big discount, and a 30-day money-back guarantee for any reason whatsoever. So once you decide on a plan, you'll then click on Choose Plan. Okay, now the next option you'll select is the period. So right here, if you click on this arrow, you'll see we have 48 months, 24 months, 12 months, and 1 month. I definitely recommend going with 12 months or more. This will actually apply the largest discount available, and you'll still get a free domain if you select more than 12 months. So go ahead and select the period, and on the right side, you'll see that we have this option for a coupon code. And don't worry, I got your back. If we scroll down right here and enter the coupon code Daryl10, we will save an additional 10% on top of the discount already available. So right here, I'll click on apply, and there we go. So now we have 81% total in discounts, and you'll only pay $43 for the entire year, and that's all you're gonna pay. So once you enter in that coupon code, you'll then click on continue. Now the next step is you'll register for a Hostinger account. So right here, you'll enter in an email address and also a password. Once you enter in your email and your password, you'll then click on register. So next we're brought to our checkout page, and here we need to input our information for our billing address. So I'll go ahead and fill out my information. Okay, once you enter your billing address, you'll then click on continue. Next, you're brought to your payment method. So here you can pay with credit card, you can pay with MasterCard or Visa, American Express, or for those of you who have Discover, you can use a Discover card. Also, you can pay with PayPal, Google Pay, Apple Pay, and Alipay. So I'll go ahead and put in my credit card information. Okay, so once we fill out our credit card information, we'll then click on Submit Payments. All right, so after the payment page, it'll actually redirect us to the next page. Okay, so now we're gonna walk through the Hostinger wizard. So who is this website for? Well, it's for me or my business. I'll click on Next. Do you want to create or migrate a website? I want to click on Create a Website and click on Next. So next you'll create your login credentials, and this is what you're gonna use to log into WordPress. So make sure you write this down. You'll put in your email address and then also put in a password for WordPress, and then you'll click on Next. Next, they're asking us what kind of website we wanna build. We can actually click on Create a Blank Site and skip this section. So click on Create a Blank Site. So next you'll enter in the domain for your new website, and you get a free domain using our coupon code. So this is the domain name that people enter in the address bar when they're browsing the internet. So for example, I'll put darylstutorial.com. After we type that in, you'll see this is our free domain and it's currently available. So you'll go ahead and select your domain here, and then you'll click on Next. So next we're going to register your domain, and this is important because you're claiming ownership of this domain. So is this personal or is this a company? I'll select personal. You'll then select the country of where you registered this domain. So I'll put United States, and then I'll click on Next Step. And next you'll enter in your contact details. This is important because this lets people know who actually owns this domain. So if you ever want to sell your domain later or something, they're always going to look at your contact details. So go ahead and put in your first name, your last name, and your contact information. And once you're done, you'll then click on Finish Registration. So next you'll go ahead and select a server closest to your target audience. So if you're in the Americas, you'll go ahead and select United States. If you're in Europe, you'll select Germany, or if you're in South America, you'll select Brazil. This really isn't that important because you do get free CDNs with Hostinger, and that makes copies of your website and puts it on servers all around the world. So your website will still be fast regardless of your location. But in my instance, I'll go ahead and pick Arizona right here, and then I'll click on Next. So now Hostinger is going to install WordPress on our new domain. So just give this maybe like 1 or 2 minutes. And congratulations, this is now your new WordPress website. So this is Hostinger's welcome wizard where they're just saying, hey, get started with your website, and they offer some tutorials and all that cool stuff. Now, before going any further, I first want you all to check your email. So going over here to my Gmail, you're going to receive very important emails from Hostinger. The first thing that you're gonna do is verify your email address. This will make sure that you're a real person, and this will actually verify your email with Hostinger. So I'll go ahead and click on Verify Email. Okay, and this is the Hostinger dashboard, and this is where you can access the websites, you can make free business emails, and a whole lot more. We'll talk more about the Hostinger dashboard a little bit later, but let's go ahead and go back to the email. There is one more email that we also need to click on, and that's from Hostinger as well. Here, click on Inbox. You're going to want to verify your domain right here. So verify your email address to use your domain. I'll click on this, and then we'll click on Verify Email. So after you click on that link, our domain information has now been verified by Hostinger.com. So let's jump back to our WordPress dashboard. So here you'll see at the top, we have this preview domain. Now, in order to access your website and get out of preview mode, all you gotta do is type in your domain name. So type in darylstutorial.com. And this is now your new domain where you see it's live on the internet. Now, if you ever want to log into your WordPress website, there's two ways to do this. You can either do this through the Hostinger dashboard. I actually do this quite often because I get very lazy and I forget passwords really easily. All you'll do is go over here to the website tab, and then you'll see your domain, and you can just click on WordPress admin, and this will log you directly into your website. And just like that, we are now logged into WordPress, and you'll see that we are now using our live domain on the internet. And if I click on visit site right here, you'll go ahead and see a copy of our websites. So next, let me show you all how to log into WordPress using your browser. So here you'll enter in your domain name, and then you'll enter -wp-admin, and this will bring you to the WordPress login screen. So I'll press enter. This is where you're going to enter in your credentials. You'll enter in your email and your password. So just remember, these are the credentials that you created when you installed WordPress. So I'll go ahead and click on Remember Me, and then I'll click on Login. So that's how you can log in and log out of WordPress, so you can work on your website from any location. So next, let's go ahead and talk about the WordPress dashboard. So here you'll go ahead and see a list of your pages. So if I click on All Pages right here, you'll see a list of all of your pages. These are just demo pages, so you can just go ahead and delete these pages if you don't want them. Also for posts, the same thing for posts. These are a list of all of your blog posts, and you always get this cool one called Hello World, which is just an introduction to the blog, but we can go ahead and also trash this. So I'll click on Trash, and that's how you can delete pages from your websites. So let's go ahead now and jump into the important WordPress options. So let's go ahead and go over here to Users and click on Profile. So the first thing you can do is you can go ahead and change the backend color scheme of your websites. So if you like blue or coffee or midnights, you can go ahead and select one of these colors. I do like midnights. I feel like this is easier on the eye, right? If you scroll down, you'll see this is where you can change your email. So if you ever forget your password for WordPress, it'll always be sent to this email. So make sure you have access to it. We'll go ahead and scroll down. Now, if you ever want to change your password for WordPress, you'll go ahead and click on Set New Password, and then you'll enter in a new password for WordPress right here. Once you're done with those options, we'll then click on Update Profile. Next, let's go ahead and go over here to Settings, and let's click on General. Now, the first thing is you can give your website a name. So I'm going to put Daryl's Store, right? And then you have a tagline. This is kind of like the tagline of your website. You know how Nike has Just Do It, right? You can put a tagline if you want, or you can leave it blank. You can also upload a site icon, and this appears at the top of browsers when people visit your websites. And scrolling down, you can always adjust your email address again right here. Now, for those of you who speak various languages, you can actually change the backend of WordPress to your native language. So if you speak Chinese or Russian or Dutch or Spanish, you can go ahead and select the language right here, and the entire backend will change to your native language. Once you're done with those options, we'll then scroll to the bottom and then click on Save Changes. Okay, now there's two more options that I do want to check. Let's go ahead and click on the Discussion tab right here. Now, WordPress started off as a blog, so people typically are going to leave comments on your website, but that's really annoying. So right here, I'll click on Allow People to Submit Comments. This typically will allow people to spam your website with like Viagra pills and all sorts of crazy stuff. So make sure you uncheck that box, scroll to the bottom, and then click on Save Changes. And the very last option before we design our website is permalinks. So right here, I'll click on permalinks. Now you always want to change the permalink structure to post name. This is optimal for SEO, and it's a lot cleaner. You'll see these other Links right here are really messy with the date and all this unnecessary information. Post name is actually optimal for SEO and is the best setting for your permanent structure. So go ahead and select post name, scroll to the bottom and click on save changes. Okay, now let's go ahead and click on our dashboard. All right, cool. Congratulations on your new website. So now that we have our website up, now we're going to install a WordPress theme. Then we're going to import some demo content. Then I'll show you how to use the drag and drop page builder, and we're going to get our website ready for our application. With that said, let's go ahead now and jump back to the video. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're now going to install a WordPress theme. So over here under appearance, let's click on themes. Here at the top, I'll click on add theme. And then under search themes, we're going to type in Solace. S-O-L-A-C-E. So this is the theme that we're going to use, and this comes with more than 100 demos that you can use to create your application website. So right here under install, click on install, then you'll click on activate. Okay, now once you install the Solace theme, it'll prompt you to install the plugin to import the starter templates. So right here under this blue button, you'll click on install starter templates. And after that, it'll redirect you to the Solace dashboard. So from here, we can go ahead now and import some starter templates. So for starter templates, I'll click on start now. Next, you'll see this page with me. I'm saying, hey, how are you? And this is like a little video I made, but here at the bottom right, I'll click on start now. And here's a list of free starter templates that you can easily import on your website with one click. Now we have a variety of different templates for a variety of different niches. On the left side, you can also filter by category. So on the category section on the left side, let's click on marketing. And we're going to import a template called Pixel Pro. So we're going to scroll down and you're going to see this template right here called Pixel Pro. If you can't find it, you can just type it in on the search bar. So under Pixel Pro, let's click on this image. So here's the website. Now what's really cool with this WordPress theme is you can actually scroll down and actually take a look at what the theme looks like before you import it. So you can go through any of our templates, you can check it out, and then you can import it directly onto your WordPress website. You can also adjust the color palette. So if you don't want the green, you can change it to like pink or blue or something like that. You can also change the font style as well. But once you adjust your color palette and your font style, here I'll click on the checkbox. This right here will activate the Elementor page builder. This essentially creates all the content, so you must check this box in order to import the website. Once you've done that, you'll click on continue. Next, it'll prompt you to enter in your name and your email. You can always choose to opt into our newsletter. If you don't want to, no problem, you can always skip this step. So right here, I'll click on skip this step. Now Solace is going to import your starter websites. Now this process might take anywhere between 1 to 3 minutes. All right, the import has been complete and now you can check your website. So right here, I'll click on check website. And just like that, you now have a beautiful website. How about that? So we can scroll down here and make sure everything imported correctly. You'll see we have these images, you know, just general upsells and some content for your website. So it's not so like naked, right? Here we have just some like upsells about our company. Scrolling down, you can obviously replace these images with your team or your company. And then we have our frequently asked questions here at the bottom. And then we have a call to action with our footer there at the bottom. Amazing. So let's go ahead now and talk about how to design this website using the drag and drop page builder. Now this content is being created by Elementor, and here at the top, this is where we can turn on the page builder. So let me give you all a 5-minute crash course on how to use the Elementor page builder. So here at the top, you'll click on Edit with Elementor, and this will turn on the page builder. Okay, now this is the UI for the Elementor page builder. Now really quick, let me show you our demo website. So we're gonna take this website and turn it into something like this. Here we have resize any image for free. And then this is where we incorporated the application. So all I really did here was I just changed the title and I put the application on my landing page. And you can do the same exact thing. In fact, you can put it anywhere that you want. So going back here, these are elements. And essentially on the left side, you can drag and drop these elements onto the page. So for example, if you want to take this text editor and drop it right here, you can just drag and drop it. Now for every single element, you have 3 separate tabs. You have the content tab. This controls the actual content of the elements. Then you have the style tab. This controls the style. And then also the advanced tab. This controls things like margin, padding, and also space. Now, just a heads up, Elementor V4 is coming out very soon where they're going to combine the style and the advanced. So you're only going to see 2 specific tabs in the next few months. That update should be coming out in the next 2 to 3 months. So if it doesn't look the same, don't panic. So let's say, for example, you want to move an element around. You can just take it and just drag and drop it where there's that little pink bar. You can also right click on elements, duplicate it, right? And you can also delete them. So I'll right click and delete, and right click and delete. Now let's say, for example, you want to add a new section. So right here, you'll see this plus. This enables you to create a new section. So here I'll click on the plus, and then I'll click on Flexbox. And here we have these directional arrows. Now, I'm not gonna explain what these are in this video because it's gonna get a little bit too complex, but let's just start with the basic 2-column row. So here we have 2 columns. If I click on the Add Element tab, now I can just add in, elements. So I'll put in a header, right? And then here I'll put in text editor, and then I will throw in an image, okay? Now, if you wanna adjust the image, all you gotta do is click on Choose Image. And under Media Library, we've actually given you images that you can use when you import the actual websites. So I'll just put this guy here. And this will be like Daryl Wilson. I'll just change this to Daryl Wilson. Right, Daryl Wilson, okay. And below that, we can add in a button, right? Okay, pretty simple. So it's pretty self-explanatory. And if you want, you can go ahead and even duplicate these sections as well. So under this container, I'll right-click under the container, duplicate, and duplicate it. And then this one, I don't want it, so I'll right click and I will delete it. Now let's say, for example, you want to actually add in maybe a background or maybe just add in space. So under this 6 dots, you'll see this edit container. This essentially controls the entire box. So under the advanced section, the first thing I'll do is I'll uncheck these links. And let's say you want to add space to the top. Here we can add space. See how that's adding space, right? And then we can also add space to the bottom. So now we're making space. Now you can also add like a background color or an image. So under the style tab, this controls again, like the styles of the actual background. So under the classic, we can choose to add in like a color, or we can add in gradients if you want to go that route. So we have this gradient color. And if you want, you can always add in an image if you want an image for your background. So what we can do is we can just go throughout the rest of the websites and you can just modify things to fit your specific needs. So if you want to adjust this image, you can just click on the image, change it. And then under the Add Element section, maybe you want to throw in a button. You can just take a button, drag it right there. And then here you can add a link. So maybe you want to put this to our Contact Us page. Just type in contacts and bam, it'll actually link to the contacts. Now for the style section, this is where you can change the position. So if you want to, make it like in the center, right, or stretch it out, you can do that. And as always, we can duplicate it, drag and drop it, duplicate, and drag and drop. If you want to change the text for anything, all you got to do is just click on the elements. And then here you can change this to like, Daryl Wilson's staff. So you can go throughout the rest of the website and you can modify things and you can change it to fit your specific needs for your application website. So let's go ahead now and scroll up. Now I realize I'm just scratching the surface about how to use the Elementor Page Builder. If you want to learn more about how to use this page builder, I've actually created a complete dedicated tutorial on how to use the Elementor Page Builder for complete beginners. So if you want to learn more about how to use the Elementor Page Builder, I will put this tutorial in the video description for you to check out later. But so far, it's pretty self-explanatory. Now, after you've made all the adjustments you want to your website, here at the top, I'll click on Publish, and this will save all the changes we've made on our website. So let's move on to the next section and integrate the app. Now, this is what we're aiming to achieve right here. So I went ahead and I changed my title, and then below that, we have our application. Now, what's really cool here is users can go ahead and upload images. So let me just walk you through an example. Here, I'll upload one of my images. So I have a picture of this squirrel. It's a JPEG. So click on Open. Now below that, we have some options. We have some conversion settings. So you saw that it was a JPEG image, right? So what we can do here is change the format. So let's say, for example, you want to change this to PNG. I'll click PNG. We can also click on more options here and you can customize the dimensions. You can also resize the images. You can add watermarks and all sorts of different options. Now right here, I'll go ahead and click on Convert, and then I'll click on Download. So now you'll see at the top, it's a PNG file. And if I change this to anything else like BMP, here I'll click on Reconvert, then I'll click on Download. And then here at the top, you'll notice it's a BMP file. So your visitors will have full access to adjust anything they want using your tools. So let's go ahead now, move on to the next section and create our application. All right, so now we're gonna get to the fun stuff. So in this part of the video, I'm gonna introduce you all to Lovable AI. Now, I've been using this tool for quite some time and I've really narrowed it down to a science. Now we're gonna follow Lovable's 4-phase process when we create our application. This is the most efficient way and optimal way to build an application with AI. Now listen, I'll be very honest with all of you. If you're trying to build an application website, you probably need to get at least the pro version. The free version limits you to 5 credits, but with the pro version, you get 100. And if you're serious about building an application website, you probably need to get at least the pro version. So let's get started. Now there's a link to Lovable in the video description. You can use that link to sign up and make a free account with Lovable and also upgrade to the pro version. After that, I'll show you how to build your application with AI. Y'all ready? Let's go. Okay, and this is Lovable.dev, and this is the tool that we're gonna use to create amazing apps that we're gonna integrate onto our WordPress websites. Now, you can get started and sign up for free. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at their pricing. Now, I do recommend to go with at least the Pro for this video. The main reason why is because we're gonna enter in a few prompts, and if you're on the free version, it's gonna really limit you and hold you back. So they only give you like 5 credits a day, and that's probably not enough to create an application. So what I personally recommend is to sign up for at least the Pro version, and with this, you can easily have enough credits to create any kind of application you want. So once you sign up, make an account and pay for your plan, it'll then bring you back to the Lovable homepage. Now, just to give you an idea of what I'm paying, so I'm on the $480 a month plan and I use a lot of credits. So yeah, I'm kind of a junkie, as you can tell. So really quick, once you create apps, I'll go ahead and scroll down and here's your workspace. Now here is a list of all the applications that I made on Lovable. So you'll see I have a ton of them, right? And you can just click on any of these and then it'll actually prompt you to, activate the application. And then from there, you can create prompts. Now, if we scroll down, we also have free projects that you can remix. Remix is essentially taking over a project. So you can actually take these websites, use it as your own, and then you can modify it to fit your company culture. So remixing is cool, but we don't need to do that because we're gonna start from scratch here. Now, just to give you an idea of some projects that I made already, this, for example, right here is a video game. Now, on my video game, I can click on these little actions and my guys will actually attack. And we're fighting the evil Gutenberg. So you can create full-fledged video games like, turn-based like Pokemon or Final Fantasy or something like that. And look at that, he attacks me with an AoE attack. So he hits all my units, right? Another project that I made was a dashboard. So this is a dashboard, and essentially what you can do is take these, take these apps, you can integrate it with anything that you want and display it for your customers. Now, I know this looks like a little skewed right here. So if you open this on a new browser, this is like what it looks like. So sometimes it shows you like it's a little scrunched, and that's because, this right here. Now, with this application, you can easily integrate anything that you want. You just need to instruct the AI that you want to add some sort of integration, and then it'll display it in a really clean format like this. You can also integrate this directly onto your WordPress websites. Another project I was working on was a resume creator. The user can go ahead and enter in their personal information, their experience, their education skills, and it'll display right here in a really nice clean format. The user can also download it as a PDF or also a doc. You can choose to allow any kind of file that you want. So if you want them to download it in Excel or anything else, you just need to instruct that to the AI. The next project was the American File Converter. We have some American products here. Now at the top under Convert, you'll see that my website can convert anything. Under video and audio, we can convert any type of video types. We can also convert any type of image type. We can also convert PDF and documents, GIFs, and even time and unit converters as well. So this website has a lot going on here, and the user can just click on choose file and then upload the image, and then they can go ahead and alter it to their liking. I'm just showing you these because I want to give you inspiration and ideas. You don't have to have one idea and stick with it. So you can branch off to anything that you could possibly think of. And just in case you're like a real nerd or something, you can always create something that appeases to a specific audience. So this is like I think this is like a game I made, and you just pick different things and you can kind of you get the point, right? I mean, this looks like a video game. So whatever you can think of, just be creative and knock yourself out. But let's go back to Lovable here, and now let's give you all some instructions on how to properly create prompts. Okay, so let's hop on over to my Evernote, and I'm gonna walk you through a 9-step process. Now, I recommend you all follow this process because it's gonna save you a lot of time with debugging. Now, the first thing you're gonna do is brainstorm an idea. So just simply think of something that you wanna create and then go from there. Now, if you can't think of anything or you have writer's block, there is a strategy here. So in order to brainstorm, all you need to do is think of one specific idea and ask the AI to create maybe 20 other creative ideas on how to develop your app. So for instance, Now in this video, we're gonna create a JPEG converter, but maybe some of you don't wanna do that. So let me just explain how you can think of any sort of idea. So for instance, I like watches. I want to develop an app with Lovable in order to create an application or game that users can use to relate around watches. Can you give me 20 different app ideas for watches that I can create with Lovable? So all you need to do is just think of one idea, and then you can ask the AI to just give you a bunch of different, ideas and applications that can help you create your application. And already we have some really cool ideas. I mean, look at this one, a watch identifier. Take a photo of a watch. The app identifies the model, brand, and approximate value. I mean, that's something that I probably would use as well because I have like a Mido watch and a Rolex and I'm curious as to what it's worth right now. And look at this one, a virtual watch try-on. Upload wrist photos and overlays, different watch designs to try before you buy them. I mean, that's really interesting. And then let's say you want to make like a game around it, right? We have watch tycoon game, build your own watch brand, design models, market them, and compete globally. I mean, they got some really interesting ideas, as you can tell. So that's what I recommend on how to brainstorm if you can't think of anything on your own. No problem, we got AI for that. So next we have the 4-phase process. Now this is the most efficient way on how to create apps without having a lot of problems and trouble. Now this is actually recommended in the Lovable docs. So they actually recommend to create a 4-phase process when creating applications. To give you an idea, let's say you want to build something, right? Phase 1 is the project setup. Phase 2 is like the core features. Phase 3 is the advanced features, and then phase 4 is polish and deploy. So something like that, right? They're not gonna be worded exactly like that, but it's gonna be a 4-phase process. After we do that, we're then gonna connect our database to our application. After that, we're going to now debug the application and implement security fixes. Don't worry, I know that sounds techie, we're gonna have the AI do it for us. Then we'll go ahead and create changes and adjustments. Now, this is gonna be the part where you spend a majority of your credits. So after it generates something for you, you're gonna have to tweak it and modify it to fit your specific liking. Now, after you create your application, we'll then go to step 6. That's to optimize it for mobile. And then after that, we'll debug again, we'll create finishing touches, and then we'll beta run the app. So let's get started. So I actually have a prompt that I've actually prepared for this video. So over here, you'll see that I have this really nice prompt where we have phases, right? We have phase 1, we have phase 2, and this is a very large prompt that was generated by AI. Now I'll give you the same exact prompt in order to implement this for your project. So this is essentially what we're gonna type in what kind of app we wanna create. Now to give you a demo prompt of what I typed in for my specific app, this is exactly what I typed in to actually generate a very large phase. So we have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. So your prompt should look something like this. I'll go ahead and leave this prompt in the video description if you want to copy it for something else. But here I typed in, I want to create an app for Lovable. I want this app to convert JPEG to PNG and other types of images. Can you create me a prompt that I can use to create this app with Lovable? Make sure to use the 4 phases as instructed by the Lovable documentation. The reason why I put this in here is because I want the AI to actually read the docs and actually make a prompt around what they recommend. And be as detailed as you can. Now the last sentence here is actually quite important. Be as detailed as you can and expand on each section to be detailed for the AI. If you don't put this sentence, it's gonna give you like basic bullet points. So it'll look something like this. It'll just be like very basic, but if you ask it to be very detailed and complex, it's going to create a more sophisticated app, and your prompt should look something like this. So let's take that prompt and I'm gonna insert it now for ChatGPT. Now, when you enter these kind of prompts, you're not always gonna get the same answer. Sometimes you'll get less, sometimes you'll get more. But let's just see what it gives us for now and we'll go from there. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this prompt. And this process might take like a minute because it does create a pretty large prompt, so it might take a little time. Okay, so that took about 1 minute and 14 seconds. It took a while for it to generate this prompt. Now here we have the title of the application, and below that we have a paragraph explaining to the AI what exactly we're trying to create. Now this is very important because this is going to explain to the AI what we're going to create, and it's going to build a structure around what we want to build. Below that we have some more information for the AI, and then here we have our phase. So we have phase 1, plan and specification. We have phase 2, UX and UI design. Below that we have phase 3. And lastly, we have phase 4. Now, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go through this script right here and you're gonna adjust it to your liking. So let's say, for example, there's something that you wanna add or take out. You can go ahead and modify this specific prompt. Now here's a quick tip. If you do want to take your application and give it a specific theme, what I recommend to do is after it generates the prompt, all you need to do is ask it to give it a specific theme. For example, if you want this minimal, if you want it corporate, if you want to give it a Pokemon theme, a Dungeons and Dragons theme, you can type that in here to give your specific app a different look and feel. So for example, can you give this app a Pokemon style theme? That's all you need to enter in, and it's going to take all that information, it's going to reevaluate it, and then it's going to create a prompt around Pokemon. So it's a quick shortcut because what it's doing here, it's remembering the 4 phases, so you don't need to re-enter everything in here. So it's going to take all that information and it's going to give it a Pokemon twist. So this is a quick way on how to take a very advanced prompt and turn it into something that actually fits your needs. So we built this entire application using the 4-phase process, right? Now what we can do is we can actually ask the AI to create a different app using the same exact style and method as what they created for us here. So for example, I'll go ahead and say, using the same method and prompt style, create a TOS generator. Now the AI is going to remember exactly what it did earlier, so it's still going to generate us 4 phases, and it's going to implement this for Lovable. And look at this. So it created a Pokemon style TOS generator. And if you look at the actual prompt, it carried all the information that we wanted from Lovable, yet it also implemented the Pokemon idea for this TOS generator. So by using this same exact method, this is how you can quickly create complex apps using the same exact system. So you can take this same exact prompt structure and convert it to any other app idea that you want to create complex apps. But let's go back to our original prompt. However, since we have a very detailed prompt, let's take this prompt and feed it to AI and see what it generates for us. So here, I'll go ahead and copy all of this, and we're gonna go back to Lovable, and we're gonna paste this prompt into Lovable. So here, I'll paste it. And I just wanna make sure that I don't have anything in here from ChatGPT. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and scroll all the way to the top. Here, I'm gonna delete this, and I'm just gonna leave the title. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this entire prompt and see what Lovable creates for us. Now this process might take anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes just because we're making something a little bit more complex. And bam, just like that, we now have a converter app that we just created. Now we need to test this out, okay? So we don't know if it's working or not, so we have to kind of like test it out and see what happens. So click on Add Images. And here we have this WebP image, right, of Kopi Coffee. So I'll open this. And once I do that, you'll then see we have conversion settings. Now you can choose to leave these conversion settings on by default, or you can have it open up when they upload an image. We'll talk about adjusting and tweaks a little bit later, but let's just test this out. So convert to, and already we can see somewhat like of a bug, right? So this is actually overlapping. It doesn't look that good, but we'll just kind of wing it here. Click on JPEG, and let's just go ahead and convert this. So convert one image. Here is the image, and then they can download it. And bam, it is now a JPEG image. So we know the converter tool is working. Now there's a lot more work to be done. So at face value, I know it looks kind of cool that we made it, but we still have to make some more adjustments to this app. So now that we've created this, now the next step that we're gonna do before we do anything whatsoever is we're now going to connect Supabase. This essentially is the backend for your application. This is gonna store contact information. It's gonna store emails, telephone numbers, anything that your app requires, it's gonna store it in a database. So under the actual prompt right here, the next one we're gonna do is we are now gonna connect Supabase. It's funny because it even prompts you to connect Supabase, and it's completely free to create an account and sign up. So right here, I'll click on Connect Supabase. Now you're gonna have to create an account with Supabase. You're gonna have to link it to a specific project. So here I'll click on Connect a Project. And in my case, I have this email, and I'm just going to click on a project. So you will need to go through the process, make an account, and it'll prompt you to sign up and everything else. So it's not too difficult, and it's completely free. So you'll have to do that if you want to store information from your application. Okay, so now you'll see that our app is connected to Supabase. So now users can have accounts. They can also log in. We can also store and use real data, and also use advanced features. So let's go ahead and scroll down. Now, if you want to click on Project Dashboard, it'll actually take you to the actual dashboard of Supabase. And here is the dashboard. Now, here under Table Editor, this is essentially where you're going to get all of your contact information. So depending on what it created for you, like for instance, right here, contact form submission, you'll see that I have been testing this out a lot with my developer. Also, if you have other apps like appointments, you'll see that, everything that you do on your app will be stored here in your database. And you can find this under the table editor section, and these will be created for you automatically. Now, if these are not created for you, you can always ask the AI to create a specific database for your database. So just to walk you through this, mine's already created, but I'll just do it anyway. So here we go. Create me tables in my database for this application. Call them Pixel Flip. So essentially what I'm doing here is I'm actually asking the AI to create a database where everything is stored for this specific application. Now this is amazing. So the AI can actually go in the database in Supabase and it can actually generate things for you. So in a way, this is actually also your backend developer, which is really cool. So let's go back to Supabase and I'm gonna refresh this page. Oh, I thought it already displayed there. Yeah, right here. So we have conversion, stats, preferences. So it did create a database for us. Pretty cool. So let's go to the next step. So the next step for our application is we now need to implement security fixes and also debug the app. Now what we're gonna do is just go ahead and paste this in and just enter, right? So just implement security fixes and debug. So essentially what we're doing here is we're debugging the website before we make any adjustments. All right, and then you'll see that I went ahead and it debugged the app for us. So the next thing that we're gonna do is we're now going to start making changes and adjustments. Now this is gonna be probably the longest part of building an application because now you need to modify and tweak the app to fit your specific needs. So the first thing I want to do is show the controls. Okay, so the first command I'm gonna give it is, can you show the controls on this app? Have them shown by default under the upload image section. Also, make sure users can also compress and add the feature to auto compress images if they want after upload. Why not? Here, I'll run this prompt. All right, and just like that, we now have our controls here at the bottom. We have different sizes. We can auto compress on upload, which is really cool. So the next thing that we're gonna do is make some small adjustments to our app. You might notice here that this doesn't look good. Now there's two ways to fix and adjust on your website. You can either ask the AI to fix specific parts, or I'll click on edit right here, and then you can click on a specific part and fix an individual part, kind of like a page builder. So I'll click on this section and I'll just explain what I want. So I typed in for the drop-down section, make the background white, just because I don't want the text to overlap the bottom section. So I'll go ahead and implement this change. Okay, so went ahead and it fixed that section. So now it doesn't overlap, right? See that? Pretty cool. Now let's say, for example, you don't want to spend credits and adjust something. You can actually click on chat right here, and this will actually instruct the AI to give you ideas without affecting the project. So under the chat section, I'll just ask the AI, what else can I add to this form that would help users convert images? So now I'm just basically asking the AI like, hey, I need help. Can you give me some ideas or something? Okay, now take a look at this. They're gonna implement a lot of different features. So here we have image filters and effects, smart cropping and rotation, batch processing enhancements. They can implement all this to your application and make it as complex as you possibly want. Scrolling down, you're gonna see that they can add in a lot of different features. So if you do want more inspiration on how to get more features, just use this chat icon right here and they can add in as many features as you can possibly think of. It's amazing, I love it. Now, after they chat right here, it'll actually ask you to implement the plan. If you do click on implement plan, this will actually take credits away. So chatting with the bot doesn't cost credits, but if you implement the plan, it then runs the credits. Now I'll tell you what, I'm just gonna see what this generates for us. Now, if this does mess up our website, no problem, I'll show you a quick fix. So what I'll do here is I'll click on implement the plan. Wow, now after that adjustment, you'll see we have a lot more controls for our customers. So now we have quick presets, we have rotation, they can adjust the brightness for the image, the contrast, and a lot more. Now, if this is too much for you or you think it's too much for your customers, you can click on this icon right here under view history, and this will take you back to any part when you're revising your application. So if these were too much, you think, for your customers, you can just say, you know what, let's just go back to the previous version. So that's a quick way on how to, go back just in case you create something that you don't like. Now, I'm just gonna keep this just because the more options, the better for my customers, right? So you're gonna go through your application here, you're gonna make all the adjustments and changes you want, and this process might take a little bit of time, as you can tell. Now let's go to the next step. So after you've made all the adjustments, let's talk about mobile optimization. Here at the top, I'll click on the preview, and this is what our app looks like on a tablets. You can see this is kind of overlapping. And then also for the phone, you'll see some of these are actually, they're off the actual screen, right? So we have to fix these. So all you need to do here is just tell the AI to fix this for mobile devices. So just like this, please optimize this app for all devices. So essentially what I'm saying is, optimize it for phone, for tablet, for all the devices for our users. Okay, so I went ahead and I optimized it for all devices, but now we need to take a look. So this is what our website looks like on a mobile device. And now it no longer overlaps off the screen. So this is a lot compact and a lot easier for our users. But let's take a look at the tablet view. So everything looks good. All right. If there's any changes that you need to make right here, you can click on edit and then edit anything for specific devices. So just like we edit it on the homepage or the computer, you can do the same thing for tablet and also for the mobile device. But overall, I would say this app is pretty well optimized. So now that we have our app running pretty well and it's fully optimized, we need to debug it one more time. So going back over here to our step system, we want to implement any fixes and debug. The reason why we do this is because it did optimize it for specific devices. Now, during that process, it might have changed line of codes. It could have affected the database. So you just want to make sure that you debug it one more time. So right here, I'll go ahead and debug the website. So after we debug the application, you're going to see that it actually found a lot of errors on our application. So it went ahead and it fixed all the actual problems we had with our applications. And now it seems to be working just fine. So at this point, let's move on to the next step. So the very next step is to create any finishing touches. So now it's time to polish it. Add animations, smooth transitions, loaders, or anything that you want to add to your application. So feel free to, adjust this to your liking and fit your company culture, or remove anything that you don't want. In this specific case, I don't really want this header here at the top. So for my polishing touch, I want to get rid of the menu. I don't need this because I'm going to add this to a website. So I'll click on edit and I'm just going to say, click on this and delete this. So I do not want that element. And then after that, I'll click on save. Okay, so now it's time to publish this application. So once you make all the adjustments and you polish it to your liking, now let's publish it. Here at the top right, I'll click on publish. Now you might see errors right here. Let's see if it displays. It might either say warnings or errors. If there are warnings, there might be just security warnings. If there's errors, you do need to debug your website again. All right, so now if you want to see your application, all you got to do is click on open preview new tab. And voila, here is your new application. Now also you can go ahead and get the link for your application up here by clicking on publish. And then here we have the actual publish site. So I'll click on the publish site. And then here's a direct link to your application. So as of right now, with this specific link, people can access your application. So congratulations, you just made your application. All right. So now that we've created our application, now we're going to embed it onto our WordPress website. Now I recommend doing this method because it gives you a lot more control over your application and also your website. So we're going to take our application and then we're going to embed it onto our WordPress website using a free plugin. It's going to look natural, amazing, and you're going to love it. So with that said, let's now embed our application onto our WordPress website. So this leads us to our final step. We're going to take this application and we're now going to add it to our website and see if it actually works. So let's hop on over back to our WordPress website. And now I want to implement this specific app onto the website. So how do I do that? Well, I actually found a plugin that works really well. So let's go ahead and click on exit to WordPress. And now we're going to install a plugin. Now this plugin will allow us to incorporate iframe onto our websites and then we can adjust it and modify it. So under plugins, I'll click on add new. And for search plugins, we're going to type in iframe. Now, once we type that in, we're going to scroll down and this is the plugin that I recommend. It is custom iframe for Elementor. So you'll go ahead and install this free plugin. So I'll click on install now and then I'll click on activate. All right, cool. Now, once we do that, let's go back to our website and now let's turn on the page builder. So here at the top, I'll click on edit with Elementor. Okay, so we have a little bit of work to do, right? I want to change this title to something that relates to my application. So I'm going to take this text and put convert any image for free. Okay, now I'm going to delete this because I no longer need this. And I'll also delete this section here as well. Now under the widget section, you're now going to have a new option. So if you type in iframe, you're going to see this custom iframe module. This was actually propagated by that free plugin that we activated. So I'll take this, I'll drag and drop it here, and then we're going to put in our URL. So up here, I'll go ahead and copy this, and we're going to paste in this URL. And there is our application. All right. Now what's really cool with Elementor is you can utilize these modules to manipulate the actual application. So really quick, I'm going to open this up. All right, all the way up. Now I believe, there we go. Okay. Now, if this is actually not opening up all the way, it's probably because this module here might be controlling it. So I just want to make sure that the width right here is set to the maximum. Okay. So here we go. We have our application. Okay. Now you might notice that it's kind of cut off as well. And maybe you don't want this scrolling sidebar, right? That doesn't look professional. So what we can do here is we're going to click on this module and we're going to push the height to show the entire application. Okay. So we're going to make sure we show the entire app. All right. And we're going to end it right there. Okay. I also want to get rid of this show scroll bar. So I don't want the user to actually scroll on this. I want to lock it, right? So I'm going to click on no right here, and then I'll disable the sidebar. So now if I actually scroll, it looks like it's actually just part of the website and it looks normal. It looks organic. And there are other options over here like smart load, and there's also more advanced iframes. And then you can also adjust the style of this. You can change the background style, the color. You can also add in padding if you want to like shrink it down and make it more compact. You can see make it more compact if you want. And there's a few other styling options you can use. That's why I really like this plugin, because you can totally manipulate this application to fit any kind of website, which is great. So once you actually adjust this to your liking and you modify it and you change the position, we can now save this on our WordPress websites. So here at the top, I'll click on publish. All right, so let's go ahead now and test this out. So this is the moment of truth. So let's first go ahead and upload an image. Upload image. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab let's grab a PNG. What should we put up there? Let's do a PNG, all right. Open this. So here is the PNG, it's ready to convert. Here we can convert it to something else. Let's just do WebP, why not? We can change the aspect ratio. We can have some quick presets, but I'll just leave it as normal. Let's also rotate it. Let's rotate it right. See what that does, all right? Then we'll go ahead and scroll down. It looks like everything else is good, and then I'll convert the image. Now, what we should have done here is we probably should have added the button for them to download it right here next to the convert. So that's probably one adjustment that you want to make. You want to make it as easy as possible for your customers. So if I scroll down, you'll see that I can download it right here. So I'll go ahead now and download the image. And now we can see it converted it to WebP. So our application is working, and we've successfully now created a new application website. Congratulations. So any changes that you make on your application in Lovable, it will automatically update on your website, because iframe is essentially just loading the actual application through Lovable. So any changes that you make on Lovable will be automatically synced up, and it'll change on your actual website. Pretty cool. So next, let's talk about monetization. At some point, you might want to slightly monetize your application in order to make some revenue. Now, there's various ways on how to do this. You can accept donations, you can run ads, you can collect email leads, and so on and so forth. So in this part of the video, I'll walk you through how to monetize your app using advertisements, and also how to add in PayPal donations and Buy Me a Coffee donations as well. So let me show you. So the very first way is adding a PayPal donation or Buy Me a Coffee link. So right here, I instructed the application, can you add a PayPal integration donation with this email and also buy me a coffee? I meant to actually put my email, right? So if I scroll down, you'll see that I put in my PayPal email. So you will need to sign up with PayPal. You'll also need to sign up with Buy Me a Coffee. And then you take that specific credential and then you give it to them, and they'll place it directly on your application. So scrolling down, I also gave them the Buy Me a Coffee username. And here on my application, if I scroll down, you're gonna see that I placed it right here at the bottom. You can also instruct the AI to place it at the top, maybe like right up here or something like that if you want to, showcase it more. But just to give you an example, if I click on donate via PayPal, you'll see it automatically links up to my PayPal accounts, and I can, pay a bunch of money and then donate with PayPal. I can also go ahead and click on Buy Me a Coffee, and then right here it takes me to Buy Me a Coffee, where I can also donate via Buy Me a Coffee. So that's one way on how you can quickly monetize your app. Now let's also talk about Google AdSense. So at some point you might want to actually embed advertisements on it. So when people go to your website, there's automatically ads running. So as soon as they land on the page, you're gonna make some money via AdSense. Now I recommend doing this through WordPress. So going back over here to WordPress on my website, I want to install a plugin called Google Sitekits. So under search plugins, we're gonna type in Google Sitekits. The reason why I recommend this method is it is the easiest way to get verified and have them read the websites. So this is the plugin that you'll need. It's called Sitekit by Google. I'll go ahead and click on install and activate. And once we're done here under Sitekits, I'll click on dashboard. So all we need to do here is just sign in with Google, and that's it. Our site's verified. So right here, I'll click on sign in with Google. So here I'll go ahead and sign in with my email. I'll click on continue, and I'll click on continue one more time. Okay, so I'll go ahead and turn on the metrics. I'll add it to Search Console. And there we go. So now I'll click on go to my dashboard. Okay, so later on down the road, it's going to insert all your analytics for your website right here. But let's go back over here to settings, and now we're going to integrate ads. Here in the middle, you'll see connect more services. We'll click on this, and then you'll see AdSense. So right here, I'll click on set up AdSense. Okay, so my current website is actually in review as of right now, but let's go ahead and click on my websites. So I actually already verified the actual ownership. However, all you need to do is verify ownership. When you log in, it actually prompts you right here to verify ownership. All you got to do is click on verify. And once you do that, it'll say that your view has been requested. Now, sometimes you may get denied or approved by AdSense. It really depends on Google. However, there's a lot of things that you can do that'll increase your success rate on getting approved. The first thing is going to your website, you want to make sure that you remove all of the demo content. Okay, so anything on your website that is demo content related, you want to make sure you take it off. If they see lorem ipsum anywhere on your websites, it'll usually be auto declined. So you want to go through your website, make sure you change all of the demo content on your website. Looks like we don't have any on my website. We might, but I just want to let you know that you should delete any demo content. Also, you might want to set up Yoast or Rank Math on your website. If you need help with that, I have tutorials on both of those plugins, and I'll leave those in the video description. Typically what that does is that indexes your website, it adds a sitemap, and it adds a bunch of other text files to your server, which essentially lets Google know that your website's alive. So if Google sees that, they're going to think that your website is more practical. Another common disapproval is broken links. If you go to your website and there's various broken links on your website that are not working, Google typically thinks that your website is a demo website, and they may disapprove your website for AdSense. So make sure that you go throughout the entire website also, and make sure that there's no buttons like with dead links, because Google is really picky about dead links. Now, if you do get disapproved for AdSense, which is a very common thing, don't stress out too much. There are other websites you can apply for ads, such as Ezoic Ads. This website as well, it's virtually the same thing as Google, where they'll place ads on various websites, and they actually pay you more money for impressions. So this is Ezoic Ads, or I'm sorry, Ezoic.com. And there's also Propeller Ads. There's actually a lot of other websites that you can choose to run ads on your website. Google AdSense is not the only one. Plus, these websites, they do actually pay more than Google AdSense. Now, once you do get approved, here under the ads, if we click on the pencil icon under your website, this is where you can actually click on auto ads and then just place ads directly on your website. And they give you a preview of what this looks like. So here you'll see that they threw in this ad here at the top of our website. You can also insert other types of ads, like they have banner ads, multiplex ads. They have a bunch of different ads you can apply. Here they have overlay, where they have anchor ads, side rails, and then also this. So it looks like they incorporated all this to our website automatically. And once you get approved and you're ready to go, all you got to do is click on apply to sites, and then just click on save. And then Google Ads will start running ads directly on your website, so you can start monetizing your application website. So making applications today is actually really easy. Now, if you do want to integrate a payment gateway, I'm actually going to create another dedicated video to that. It's actually quite simple. All you do is integrate your Stripe API, you create the checkout form, and you're good to go. However, in this part of the video, I'm going to walk you through how to actually extract data and forms from your application and send it directly to your Gmail account. Now, all the information you enter on your application will be stored in your Supabase account. However, I'll be showing you how to route all this information to your Gmail account, just in case you don't want to have to constantly check your Supabase account. I'm only showing you how to do this because many of you watching this might be using applications that accept information like emails or names or something like that. Now we're gonna do this with N8N. Now I know many people hear N8N and they get very intimidated, but it's actually quite simple, and all you gotta do is just log in with Gmail and you're good to go. So let me walk you through how to do this. So I'm back over here at my application, and I'm gonna ask the AI, can you create an email field where users can submit their email in order to use my tool? Make sure they enter their email before you give them their converted image. So essentially what I'm doing here is I want them to enter their email so I can collect that before they get their image. So I'll go ahead and run this prompt. Now also, whenever you run prompts like this, just expect it might take a while because they're gonna have to create a database for it. And remember guys, debug, debug, debug. I know whenever you do something, you might get random errors, so just make sure that you debug every time you run a prompt that changes something or changes the interface. Okay, so now we have the email bar right here where users will have to enter in their email. Now let's go to the next step. So now please create a table in my database called Pixel Emails and store all the emails the user enters in that specific database. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking those emails, and In our Supabase account, we are now going to create another line of database, and we're going to store those emails right here. Now, the AI should actually create its own table right here automatically. So let's see what happens. Okay, so they're creating a new table called Pixel Emails. So I'll approve this. When you click on approve, you're essentially approving a change in the database, and that is important. So they just want to make sure that you know that. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and check our Supabase accounts. And it looks like, let me see if I can refresh this. Go ahead and refresh. It should be here somewhere. There it is, Pixel Emails. Okay, cool. I thought it was gonna like not work and I had to edit the video, but no, it's working, right? So next, let's go ahead now and test this out. So I'll upload an image. So now let's check our database, and we're gonna refresh this, and hopefully we'll get the email. Ah, there it is. Okay, there is our email. So now we know it's synced up and it's working. So that's a method on how to extract emails with your application. So now we know it's working, pretty cool. Now the next step is we're now gonna automate this using a platform called N8N. Now you can access this website in the video description. I'm sure many of you at some point have heard about this platform, and it can be very intimidating for beginners. Trust me, I know, but we're just gonna simply copy and paste something and we'll be good to go. So you're gonna click on this website in the video description. It'll take you to this page, and then you'll make a free account with N8N. So here you'll click on Get Started. And then obviously you'll go through the sign up process, you'll make an account, and then we're gonna start automating our websites. Now, once you go through the process and you sign up, you make an account, it'll bring you to something that looks just like this. And their UI is not the friendliest, I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't look that great, but we're gonna create a new workflow and I'll show you exactly how this is done. Now, the very first thing that you're gonna do is click on Create a Workflow. Okay, so this is the N8N workflow, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna automate our application. So whenever someone fills something out, emails will be automatically added to a spreadsheet. I'll also be making those same notifications being sent to a Gmail account. Now there's a lot more automations. You can use Slack, you can use Telegram, WhatsApp, you can receive text messages. There's like a million ways to automate this, but I'll just give you like the basic fundamentals and then we can kind of go from there later, right? Now I will also be having a school that will actually show you advanced automations. If you do want to sign up for our school, I'll put that link in the video description. We will be having 3 instructors that will be teaching how to use N8N in detail. So it'll be a really good knowledgeable school if you want to go ahead and go that route and learn automation. Now, the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a webhook. Essentially what a webhook does is it connects the application with N8N. So it's just basically bridging the gap. So let's go ahead and add a webhook. So right here, I'll click on plus, and we're going to type in webhook. Right here, we have webhook. Now here we have test URL and production URL. Now production URL is when you want to go live. Test URL is essentially when you're just testing the application. So right here, I'm going to copy this. And for the HTTP method, you want to select post. Post is essentially going to connect this onto the very next node. So that's why you want to select post for the HTTP method. So here we'll go ahead and copy this. And now let's go to Lovable. So I'm going to type in something like, please connect this webhook to this app. Make the webhook executes, whoops, when a user converts an image. That's it. Here I'll press enter twice, and then I'll press paste, and then I want to make sure that we paste that in. All right, so I think that looks good. Okay. So essentially what I'm doing right now is I'm actually creating an integration. Now with WordPress, you'd have to wait for a huge update, right? But with Lovable, we can create integrations and webhooks like in a matter of seconds. It's amazing. All right, cool. So here I have a webhook, and now let's test this out. So to test this out, we'll upload an image. Here I'll just grab a file. Here I'll put daryl@gmail.com. Now before I convert the image, I need to listen for a test event. So going back to N8N, right here, I'll click on listen for test event. And this is essentially just making sure that they are connected. So I'll click on listen for test event. And once it is connected, you'll get a success message at the bottom right. So let's go over here and click on convert one image, go back to N8N. And there you go, node executed successfully. So now we know it's connected. Now, if this did not work for you, all you have to do is go back to Lovable, this does happen sometimes, and give them the webhook and say, hey, it's not working. Can you please make sure the webhook is connected? Sometimes the AI will put the webhook in the wrong line, and that happens sometimes. So all you gotta do is just try it again, and it should work just fine. So now that we know that it's connected, now let's give it some tasks, right? So now we have the green lights, it's connected, but now what do we want to do? Do we want to, send an email? Do you want to send a Slack notification? What do you want to do, right? So over here under the plus, I'm going to type in Google Sheets. Okay. And here we have some options. We can create a spreadsheet, delete a spreadsheet, append row, and all this other information. We're gonna click on append row and sheet. And here we have credentials to connect with. So right here, you wanna go ahead and log in with your Gmail account. So you'll click on create new credential, and then you'll log in with Google. Once you do that, it's going to have your information stored, and it's going to allow you to pick your account. So right here, you'll see I can pick my account because I logged in with Google. Now for the resource, I'm gonna put sheet within documents, right? And for the operation, we want to append a row. Append a row, essentially, I wanted to edit or I wanted to add something to a specific row. Now you will have to have a document created for this. So in this specific example, I'm using this untitled spreadsheet. So over here, I'll go ahead and for the documents, we have the untitled spreadsheets. And for the sheets, I'll go ahead and select the sheet 1. Now you can choose a few options, right? So you can actually map this automatically. Essentially, all you have to do in order for this to work is you need to create one column. So before you do anything, you need to actually create column 1, just like I've done right here. So column 1. And after that, all of these sequential rows, emails will be added below that. So you first need to create a column called column 1 or column 2, just to let the AI know this is a specific column. All right, so the next option is mapping column mode. So I wanna go ahead and select map each column manually. So below that, we have values to send. And now we have column 1. So what do you wanna put in column 1? But before we do this, we need to actually instruct what we want in column 1. Now over here under the, we'll go ahead and run a test event really quick. So what I wanna do here is just show you something really quick. I'm gonna go ahead and listen for a test event, okay? You might have to do this, you might not have to. It depends on how the AI built your form, but I'll just walk you through this anyways. So I'll click on convert image. Okay. And now you're gonna see that right here, it gives us this error, and that's fine. I'll double click. Now, essentially what it's saying is, okay, you ran the execution, but you didn't tell us what you want in column 1. So here under the schema, now I can tell them what I want in column 1. So for example, I'll scroll down, and here we have user email. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna drag it into column 1. So essentially right now is I'm saying I want the emails that people enter in my form in column 1. So I'll click on execute step. Okay, so now you can see that it's synced up and it has read the actual prompt. Now, many of you watching this will not have this same exact setup. You might see a body that looks just like this right here. We have all this like information into one body. And if you do have that, you need to instruct the AI to separate each of them by variables so you can drag and drop each one by one. This is a great way in the future so you can just take emails, phone numbers, numbers or names or whatever and just put it exactly where you want. So I recommend to either watch this video or to just go ahead and enter in this prompt. Once you enter this prompt, the AI will actually execute it. So for this specific form, I did have that issue and I just put, I need to be able to separate each field as an expression message and then schema inputs. Can you create custom fields as a separate field instead of adding all fields in the body in the schema input? So after that, you'll see that it did actually separate that. So it did work, but I did have to recreate this specific form. So some of you might have that issue. Now, anyways, so going back to N8N right here, we have the email. So now we can test this out. So here I'll go ahead and click on back to Canvas. And now let's test this out one more time. So here I'll go ahead and first listen for a text event. Wait, okay, yeah, there we go, okay. And then I'll go ahead and convert an image. Now, once that's done, you'll see that this is going to execute, right? Okay, fingers crossed. There we go. All right. And then we'll check our spreadsheets and voila, now it's added right here. And then you'll see now we have those emails. Now here we have headers, parameters, query, body, all this other junk we don't need. What you can do here is you can add in specific things that you want to add on your form. Like for example, if you added phone numbers or names, you can just add those right here instead of having these. So we can just delete these, right? So there we go. Now we're only gonna get emails in column 1. Now you also might be curious about, all right, that's cool, but what about like a Gmail, right? So what I'll do is over here, I'll take this and I'll type in Gmail, okay? And then I'll put send a message. Here I'm logged into my Gmail account, so there's nothing for me to do. And for 2, I'll put my email, darylporto@gmail.com. So 2 is where you want this specific contact to go. And then I'll put new lead. And then for the message, we'll put like, hey man, you got a new lead. Okay. Now for the expression, we can also go ahead and drag in a expression here. So I'm gonna scroll down And here for the body, you're gonna see user email. Take this, drag it right there, okay? Now you can, drag in anything you want here. So if there's other things that you want to drag in, like the time, file types, the name of the person, whatever, you can do that. You can also be really customizable, and you can like decorate this, right? You can like eventually turn this into like a hold-on email by saying, I want to put the email here, the name here. Then you can type your own stuff, what you want, right? So I'll just put like congrats at the end. Okay, close that, and then I'll click on execute step. So now that that's executed, I'll click on execute workflow, and now let's try it out one more time. So here I'll go back and now I'll test this out, convert the image. Okay, it's converted. So now an email has been sent, and also the Google Sheets has also been updated. Let's check my email over here. Refresh this, there we go. Hey man, and there we go. Congrats, right? Pretty cool. Now, once you're ready to actually put this in production mode, all you got to do is double click on this, go to production, and then copy this and go back to Lovable and saying, I want you to add this production URL webhook and replace the others. Okay, I'll paste that in. Okay, so I went ahead and I added that webhook. Now let's put this in live mode. So let's go back to N8N. I'm gonna put this in active. Okay, and we're also going to, I think that's it, right? So it's active, it's saved, and now we just need to, we don't need to click on execute workflow no more. Now we can just work as usual. So let's go over here, and now let's enter in something else. So wilson@wilson.com. Here I'll click on convert image. Now I don't have to do anything no more. So now this is all automated. So I'll just go over here. You'll see it already connected. Going back to our spreadsheet, Wilson has automatically been added. And then also going to our Gmail account. There we go, wilson@wilson.com. Now there's a lot of ways on how to approach automation, but I'm just giving you the very bare basics. If you want to learn more about advanced automations and create something really crazy like scraping emails or creating automated YouTube videos and shorts and uploading them to 5 different networks, I will be showing you how to do that in another school, and I'll have that in the video description. I hope you all enjoyed how to use N8N, and congratulations on your new application website.